Oh, nostalgia. That's that warm, fuzzy feeling you get in your stomach when you see something or taste something or smell something or hear a song that takes you back to a really nice and cherished part of your life when just things were better, times were easier. Or, according to corporate America, it's just what you absolutely mine and completely suck the blood from for every last dollar from a nostalgic crowd wishing it was better times. And that's where we get HBO Max's Velma. So we're going to go ahead and talk about Velma. This will be my full review of the first 2 episodes, which dropped on HBO Max yesterday. I sat through them both so that you don't have to. And let's start by breaking down the plot. So obviously, spoiler alert, there we are going to be spoiling the events of the first 2 episodes. Not that really anything happened. It's kind of introductory, but there you go. So Velma opens up with Velma Dinkley, kind of the title character. She is a weird outcast character. Nobody really likes her. She's quiet. She's frumpy. She's kind of a know-it-all. And really just everyone in the school hates her for one reason or another. And as we find out in the course of the show, it's kind of well-deserved. So the show starts off with this weird kind of shower fight scene with Daphne and the cheerleaders of the high school, wherein is interrupted by them finding a dead body with their brain scooped out in a locker. And I know this scene right now is getting a lot of heat because a lot of people are saying, oh, well, you know, you're sexualizing cartoons or whatever else. But really, the only thing that this scene made me kind of think as I was watching it was I really wish they would have, instead of going with these horrible new character designs, just stick with classic Daphne for a shower scene. I mean, come on. And, you know, for those of you who are really throwing a fit about this, we just got to kind of think of Peter Griffin. You know, what are you looking at? It's a cartoon. Let's get over that and move on to the other legitimate things we have to complain about with this show. So Daphne Velma rather, goes and recruits Shaggy, or Norville, her best friend, to go help her solve this mystery. And, yeah, it's Shaggy. They do a bunch of drug jokes, and it's all stuff we've seen before, which is kind of the running theme of this show. So the two of them go out to try to solve the mystery, and all clues eventually kind of point to Fred as being the murderer. So through just a series of really weird, humiliating events, Fred gets arrested for the murder and gets put on trial, goes to jail. That's pretty much the entirety of the episode. Some other random things happen, but nothing really of any importance or that moves the plot along. You learn that Velma's mother left her and has left her with a weird, debilitating problem where she can't solve mysteries, and if she tries, she hallucinates these horrible ghosts that give her heart attacks. But that kind of disability just comes and goes as the plot needs it to be there. Sometimes she can be going along, solving a mystery just fine, and she thinks her problem is solved. And then, like, a clue comes out, and she sees a horrible ghost monster, and the horrible ghost monster sends her into cardiac arrest. And then you have the whole relationship with her and Velma, which is, or her and Daphne, which is a bizarre thing in and of itself. So the two of them, you learn that they were best friends once, and Daphne grew up and blossomed and started hanging out with popular kids and didn't want to hang out with Velma anymore. So now they're enemies. They're enemies throughout the entire show. Then Velma gets roped into a weird drug selling operation with Daphne because Daphne needs money for a private investigator, and the whole thing makes no sense. It's just obviously shoehorned in there for shock value or whatever. But anyway, they spend the entire episode arguing, hating each other, but by the end of the second episode, they're just making out. So, yeah, I mean, nothing makes any sense or matters in this show. So let's talk about the elephant in the room while we're here, which is the race swapping. I know a lot of people are upset about it, and it's not subtle. It really isn't. I mean, it's hard for them to make the point that this is just kind of a natural story progression when they race swap 75% of the cast, and then the entire show is basically just humiliating and over debasing the one white male character in the show. Which is really that's the gag in Velma, is that Fred is underdeveloped. Fred's an idiot. Fred is pampered. He can't do anything for himself. And he is accused of murder because he's rich and white and could. And that's pretty much it. I mean, there's no real thought to it. And then Daphne, just in case you think, you know, maybe there's a mistake that you think that she's actually also a white character. No, she's not. She very early in the episode makes a very clear point to give you the exposition that she is an Asian girl adopted by lesbian parents. So you got even more intersectional box checking going on here. So yeah, the show, it just tries too hard. You know, I know that shows they do this. They'll take an old cast of characters and they'll, you know, tweak a race of a character here or there, or a sexual orientation of a character or whatever. It's usually done subtly, and good writing will try to at least, you know, do it in good taste and give you a good quality character out of it. This is just done to be done, and you can tell none of it is organic feeling. None of it adds to the story. It was all just done because we, Lord forbid, have a white antagonist or protagonist. And I don't mind when I first saw this coming out that Velma was going to be, the character model that she is with the darker skin, because Mindy Kaling was going to be doing her voice. And it's like, okay, well, that makes sense to me that, if you're going to have Mindy do this, you're going to put this spin on Velma. But then I figured kind of the rest of the cast would either be there intact, or what would have probably been a smarter idea, since it's supposed to be an origin story for Velma, is just put her into school and she hasn't met the rest of the gang yet, and create 3 new characters for her to hang around. I don't know why they didn't go that route. I really, really don't. But yeah, so it's in there. They're definitely doing this to try to, poke the bear. They want to get some internet rage going about it. Don't buy into the hype. The show is not worth it. The show is not worth your time. It's really just trying to be better, yet still shocking animated shows that are out there right now. They're more popular and better written than it. That's really what this is. The one word that comes to mind when I think of HBO Max's Velma is unnecessary. I don't know who this show is for. I don't know who is asking for it. I don't know who's entertained by it. I don't know who is looking forward to it. And I don't know who wants to continue watching it. So it seems to hate its source material to a pretty good degree. I mean, it just constantly is rubbing in the fact that, Fred's incompetent and Fred's stupid and terrible, and Daphne's just, kind of a B word, and she's shallow and she's materialistic, and Shaggy is a stoner who somehow isn't, and it's just this kind of wink and nod to the camera thing. And, even Velma herself is pretty self-deprecating most of the show. I mean, it shows her eating food out of a dumpster because she's, hungry and has an eating disorder. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. I mean, these aren't jokes we haven't heard before. We've seen the Scooby Gang. They really have this darker or edgier side to them. We've seen that in the movies. We've seen that in other animation. We've seen it in live action before. So none of these jokes are new. They're maybe trying to update them for modern time, but it's not like it's been that long since the live action Scooby-Doo movies came out. I really don't understand what the need of the show was. So that's why I say the review that I have, the only word I can really have to describe it is just unnecessary. The show was completely unnecessary. No good comes from it, definitely, that's for sure. You don't enjoy watching it. It's not as good as the original Scooby-Doo. It's not as good as any of the updates that I remember seeing, or even any of the weird little direct-to-DVD animations that I used to watch with my kids. So yeah, this falls into the bottom rung of Scooby-Doo lore. It really doesn't have anything to do with him, since the dog's not even in it. None of the characters even resemble the characters are supposed to be, other than the way they dress. If honestly, if you would have shown me this group of characters, but they weren't, like, Velma wasn't wearing her orange turtleneck, and Fred didn't have his white shirt and ascot and all the rest, I would not discern this as anything resembling Scooby-Doo or the gang or any of that, which means to tell me that they really don't give 2 craps about the source material. They really just want the name so they can have the shock value of doing familiar characters that people are nostalgic for, doing, like dirty, uncouth things. That's it. And pretty much all the jokes are at Fred's expense. It's really stupid. I don't know what he did to the writers, or what person in the writer's room grew up just hating Fred with a seething hatred when he would watch Scooby-Doo on Saturday mornings, that he or she decided to give birth to this show. And you know what? Usually, I don't like to bag Mindy Kaling. Really, if I were to give an honest assessment, I mean, she is a writer first and foremost, and a comedy writer at that, and she's not a bad one when she wants to be. So I don't know. I don't know where this show comes from. I really don't get it. And I don't know that I want to keep watching it. I probably won't, because really, I mean, if I were to give this just a quick description, it's like there's a gratuitous shower fight scene in the beginning, then it gets really boring. And that's pretty much my review. It's an unnecessary show consisting of a gratuitous shower fight scene, and then gets just boring after that. And that's it. So I'm going to leave it there. What'd you guys think? Did you watch Velma? If you did, I want to know your opinions on it. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Were you a fan of Scooby in the past? And did this do anything to help the Scooby-Doo kind of brand in your mind? Let's talk about in the comments below. While you're down there, do all the usual stuff. Hit like, subscribe to the channel if you're not already a subscriber. I would love to have you here. And yeah, I'm going to leave it here. Velma sucks, and I will talk to you on the next one. Bye.